going, guys? How we going? Back with a video. Today we're going to be ranking all 15 legendaries in Clash Royale. I've done these in the past, I think you guys remember, but of course with meta changes and new cards, this list has to be updated kind of like every other month. Now keep in mind these are going to be based on popularity, win rate, and a little hint of my opinion, so it doesn't matter how much people use it, it matters about their position in the meta. So without wasting any of your time, let's get right into it. Number 15, the Sparky. For more than a year, the Sparky just doesn't seem to pick up anymore. There's way too many easy counters, like the rocket for example, which one-shots it. And the difficulty of getting it to lock onto a tower is rough. They can literally place anything and the Sparky will get distracted. And yeah, by the time it reloads or it's ready to shoot again, it's too late. Not to mention, a lot of spells are also very effective against the Sparky, you know? I did mention the rocket, but stuff like the zap, the lightning, pretty much everything will take care of the Sparky one way or another. And I don't know, even though it does a lot of damage, it just seems to be a bit too easy to take out. Number 14. The Mega Knight. This card right here was probably in my top 5 in the previous ranking videos. But recently this guy got nerfed. Some even go as far as saying the nerf was too much. Now even though I disagree that the Mega Knight was killed, I do believe that the nerf is the #1 cause of the sudden drop in win rate. I don't think it's because of the meta at all. Whether Supercell will buff it or not, it really just depends on future meta changes. But sadly at the moment, the Mega Knight has to stay all the way at number 14. Number 13. The Graveyard. I like the Graveyard, I don't have any problems with it, and like every other card on this list, I'm not hating on it. All cards are useful, depending on the deck you run. But it seems as though people are having a hard time adapting to the Graveyard at the moment. We can put some of the blame on the poison, but it's not just the poison. In my opinion, yes, the Graveyard can be powerful if you use it right, but sometimes, kinda like the Sparky, it's just too easy to counter. Like from experience, I never have a problem with the Graveyard unless I run out of elixir, but you can also counter the Graveyard with a 2 elixir card, so it's not that big of a deal. Number 12, the Lava Hound. The Lava Hound currently has a win rate of 61%. It's declined about 1% the past week, but I doubt that matters at all. Besides, I feel like I've seen the Lava Hound more nowadays than I used to just a month ago. It's doing very well for itself right now, and the meta decks using the Lava Hound seem to be pretty good. It's not OP or anything, but the Lava Hound is definitely not a top 5 card. So that's why we placed it at number 12, where it fits just fine. Number 11, the Ice Wizard. Back in the day, this probably would have been one of the worst because of the incapability of one-shotting skeletons. Like back in the day, it just couldn't do it. This was obviously a huge issue until it got buffed, and now it's not so much of a problem. In fact, I don't see anything wrong with the Ice Wizard. I just believe this card isn't the best because it's more of a side helping card, you know? It can win a game for you, but most likely it won't. This is mainly due to the low damage, but I mean, who even uses the Ice Wizard to win a freaking game? So yeah, I think at number 11, the Ice Wizard is at a very great place. Number 10, the Night Witch. The Night Witch was once a very popular card, but like every other OP card, it got nerfed into oblivion, and everything went down. Usage rate, win rate, you name it. But just because it kind of fell off doesn't mean it sucks. It's actually a fairly nice card, and I use it myself. But that's probably because I use Golem, and you know, Golem decks with Night Witch is usually the best thing to do. Number 9, the LumberJack. Yeah, that guy with the purple stuff. Like a lot of the cards in this list, I don't use the LumberJack, but it's not about me. It's about how well its position is in the current meta. It's not exactly the most popular legendary, but it's also not one of the ones that doesn't get used. In the current meta, I feel like the LumberJack is the hidden card nobody talks about, but everyone knows it's low-key a little powerful. But yeah, I have no complaints about the LumberJack, so let's move on. Number 8. The Bandit. This card has always been very useful. Not sure if any of you remember, but back in the day when Bridge Ban was a huge thing, which was annoying by the way, this card was sort of the main puzzle piece that made that deck. Bridge Ban was nerfed though, and we don't exactly see it nowadays. You might, but I mean, it's not as effective as it was back in the day. Personally, my preference for the Bandit is something like a Hog deck or a medium elixir beatdown deck. It also works very nice with the miners, so yeah, you might want to try that. Number 7, the Inferno Dragon. Surprisingly, this card back in the day was actually bad. I know I'm saying back in the day a lot, but that's the only way I can reference it, you know? Back in the day. Anyways, back to this. There was never a big deal about the Inferno Dragon until a few months ago. So I'm glad people were actually using it. The Inferno Dragon is very powerful right now. It's basically a flying Inferno Tower. So if you're tired of getting beat by P.E.K.K.A, Golem, and Giant, which is already highly used by the way, you might want to bring the Inferno Dragon with you. Number 6. The Magic Archer. I know what you're thinking. What the hell? 6th place? Well, I gotta say, Supercell nailed it being balanced and not OP. And this is very strange because legendary cards are always going to be OP, but I feel like this card is okay. It's not bad or super OP. I can definitely see it being played a lot though. I've picked up on it and I think it's a very useful card. Number 5. The Electro Wizard. I think this is obvious why it's so high up on the list, and you guessed it, it's very versatile. There's no reason why not to bring this card. It can reset, it can retarget, it has a built-in zap, it can take care of small cards pretty fast. I mean, jeez. It was obviously more powerful back in its prime days, but forget the prime days. It's such a nice card and you can't go wrong with it. Number 4. The Princess. Well, what do you know? Bait decks are back. And when bait decks are a huge thing, like cards like the Princess and the Log are also huge. Even without the bait decks though, the Princess was always a nice card. Heck, even the Log was purposely made to counter the Princess. There's nothing really wrong with the Princess, like, yeah, it dies quick, but you can't expect much from a card that costs very little. So, yeah. Number 3. The Royal Ghost. I know what you're thinking again. Didn't this card die and it shouldn't be here? Well, not really. It's decent, but it's not OP anymore. It used to be insanely powerful, but nowadays it's somewhat balanced and yet it's very strong. So just because it's not OP doesn't mean it's not useful. It's a very strong card and I think it's mainly due to the high damage and the decent HP and of course the invisibility. Number 2. The Miner. I believe this card is underrated. He fits in almost all meta decks, yet I feel like people aren't giving it the attention it needs. Personally, I don't use the Miner, but that doesn't mean it was up to me to put the Miner in a lower position. And like I said, it fits in any deck, so name all the decks you want, and I bet you can replace a card and just swap it with the Miner, and that deck still works. Other than that though, it was very close to number 1, but that spot belongs to the Log. Yeah, number 1 is the Log and will probably always be. Unless they've released another type of Log, but that's not gonna happen. This card hands down is the most used and has the highest win rate of them all. The answer to that is the cheap price, effectiveness, simplicity, and the extra abilities like pushing troops back and retargeting. It does a lot for the low cost, and yes, the zap does a lot more, but that's not a legendary. The Log has always been the easiest to use no matter what the meta is. So guys, I think that should be it for all 15 legendaries in the game, ranked from worst to best. If you guys want to see more ranking videos like this, just let me know down below, and also don't forget to leave your own list in the comment section. What do you feel the list should be, and what changes would you make to my list? Because I know my list is not perfect, but I tried my best. So with that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed, and I want to thank you all for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe for more videos. Tell me what you guys think below in the comment section if you like to. See you on the next one. Peace!